What's going on, guys? It's your boy Az back here with another one. Now, this has been a long but overdue thing, and basically we're going to be talking about the top 3 teams to farm since day 1, and I'm just updating one of my older videos, and I've been getting some questions on Discord about it. So it's long and overdue, and I've only had some time today to do that, so here you guys go. Alright, so purpose of this video, we're going to be talking about the best teams to kind of streamline your farming, because of course it can be overwhelming, especially if you're a new player, and there's so many teams out there. So we're going to hopefully simplify that farming for the early game for you guys, especially if you're starting out now, and specifically because we have Doom's influence right now in the game, and we've got like a month and a bit here, and hopefully with these updates to these nodes, it helps you guys out in terms of fine-tuning your farming, because in the past we didn't have access to such characters. But if you're starting out in the game now, we do have access to some pretty wicked characters, and it really helps piece together for the early to mid transition. And some of these characters, you're going to be using them long term, and it's going to push you even through the late game. So without further ado, let's jump into our first team. First team is Avengers. I don't think that's going to be a surprise for anybody. These guys got a rework done, and they've been pretty phenomenal. I use them almost every day here, especially in Alliance Wars. The Great Blitz team, raids as well, depending on the situation, and obviously you can throw them into the other game modes as well here, Alpha, Beta, Gamma raids. You've got them also in the arena as well, especially early on. Black Widow and Hawkeye, they just formed that really nice synergy with each other, and it was a long but overdue update. And for sure, these guys are definitely, I would say, in at least in my top 10 of favorite teams. But for sure, these guys have definitely went from, I think they were at the bottom of the pack, to now being a top 10 contender. So without further ado, let's take a look at the farming. So team 1 here is obviously, you guys can see there, it's the Avengers. I already discussed that, and the one biggest change was allowing the early access of Black Widow and Hawkeye, so you can get them early farming pretty easy. They reduced Hawkeye all the way pretty much down to the first chapter, so you can start farming them from day 1. Captain America, same thing. You can cruise through the first few chapters of the Heroes campaign pretty good, and you do start with Luke Cage, Shield Medic, and Spider-Man at as your starting characters. And essentially, when you start getting Hawkeye unlocked there at the 45 shards, and then Captain America as well, I think he's at your 3-star unlock. I could be wrong, but anyways, once you start farming these guys early on, you can start pretty much gathering your key pieces, and as you're kind of progressing through the game, you're going to get Hulk shards through the milestones, and then once you get into the villains campaign, you're going to have access to Black Widow and the ability to farm her. And once you get her, she is really going to be the glue that pieces everything together, allowing that speed up and making everybody just work together in synergy and in unison. Iron Man's also kind of nice, because before he was a legendary event that only came when you're 5 stars of shield characters, but now you can pretty much get him when you've got I think 3 characters at like 3 stars. So if you're farming Hawkeye, and you got Captain America or Black Widow, or you've got Hulk up there as well, or you've got the Shield Medic or a Shield Operative, or one of the other Shield members, it really helps out, because Iron Man will come in there as an extra member, and he's going to have that DPS and that synergy with Captain America as well. So right here, great team. Like I said, it's early team. It's going to allow you to get a nice arena team, because it's going to allow the buff removal from Black Widow stuns. It's also going to be a nice raid team. I've actually gotten some testing done myself, and you can pretty much push with an Ultimus 6 team with these guys if they're pretty geared up. And in some events, I even use these guys as almost like a suicide wave in Ultimus 7. So again, these guys aren't just going to be one and done. They're going to have that transition into late game, which is really nice. And once you get Thor in there, it's absolutely broken. Like he's going to get charges, he's going to throw stuns around, and it just absolutely pieces the entire team together. And for sure, as a starting team, I've seen that a lot of people in War have been using these guys on defense, and they're using them on offense. So they kind of have some synergy going both ways, depending on which route you want to go. And the best part is with the Doom influence, you can also bring in Captain Marvel as well, who's early farming, or you can throw in Shield Medic in there for the extra heals during the campaigns. But essentially, with this team, lots of flexibility in this team. And next team we're gonna actually talk about too is we're gonna call these guys an optional team, because the defenders, they do have their role in the game. These guys get bashed a lot, and I do gotta say that before the Doom's influence, these were the guys. These were the go-to guys, and honestly, they formed a really nice team early on, because you can farm Punisher early, you can farm Luke Cage. Luke Cage is your starting character. Like, he forms a nice taunt and defense up for all the city heroes and other allies. And then you got JJ there. Also, she's a little bit further along now than in the nodes. But again, still early farming in villains. And then once you get into Nexus, you can get access to Iron Fist. And then you can use your arena shards on Daredevil if you have to. But the thing I do like about the Avengers is, in the meantime, when you have the Avengers, you don't really need to be farming anything in the arena or in the raid store. But with the Defenders, you kind of have to piece together and start throwing your arena credits at Daredevil. So that's what I don't like about this team, but it doesn't change the fact that they're still needed in the game. If you're doing the block party event, which requires city heroes, you're gonna need these guys. Gold Rush Challenge, that's important, because early on, gold doesn't really seem like it's going to hit you guys that hard, but it's good to get those challenges in, and it's good to build your gold reservoir, because once you start getting characters up to 50, 60, 70, and now the cap's 80, that costs like a ton of gold. Like, it's a ton. Like, people don't realize how much it's going to cost you, and it's a ton. And now with the new chapters 7s and I believe Heroes campaign, Villains campaign, they had a new chapter 7 added, and same with Nexus. They had chapter 8 and 9 or something like that. And then obviously we got the Doom chapters added in now as well. But anyways, Heroes chapter 7, that's pretty far deep, and that requires city characters. So you don't have to go for all 5 of these guys. But what I would recommend is Iron Fist, JJ, and Luke Cage. Those are definitely a must-3 in my books, and you can piece them together with other Spider-Verse or city characters like Spider-Man Miles or Miss Marvel, and you can get that Chapter 7 done. But ultimately, these guys, you're going to need them eventually down the road. It's kind of hard to avoid them, so you might as well just embrace it. And in the meantime, if you've got lots of energy farming Black Widow, farming Captain America and Hawkeye, and you have extra time, go for these guys, because these guys are definitely going to pay forward. And I would not be surprised, like I said, if they decide to add more city characters for synergy and all that. But right now, obviously, Squirrel Girl, Miss Marvel, great city characters as well, but they're further off along, and you won't be able to get them early on, especially if you're trying to tackle on the early Gold Rush challenges in the Block Party event. So anyways, that's all I'm going to say for there. Next team, into the Spider-Verse. So specifically the villains. So we're going to be talking about the Sinister Six Spider-Verse characters. And of course, these guys, since the Doom rework, they are early access farming as well. We've got Mysterio in the Heroes campaign or in raids. And that's kind of where, you can kind of figure out, do you want to spend your raid credits on Mysterio, or do you want to use them on Thor and then get your Avengers team going on, getting them more power and getting them that extra member as well. So it's up to you guys. We got Shocker in the Heroes campaign as well. They brought him in there with the Doom's influence. Early farming for Green Goblin as well. They put him in there as well. And as you can see already, you've already got a couple key villains here. And early farming for the villain nodes, you're going to need like 5 members. And you'll have Elektra and Crossbones already at the start, but it helps that you can farm 3 other ones that also have pretty solid synergy with each other. And as you kind of move throughout the list there, you can get Venom once you get higher up into Nexus. I don't recommend aiming for Venom right away, just because he is further along. And if you're trying to aim for the early gameplay, stick with Rhino. He's in the Blitz. He's going to give a taunt as well, so you can be double taunting with Crossbones and with Rhino. and that's gonna be really nice. And then those arena credits that we were talking about earlier on that we've been saving on, arena opens up for you when you're about 25 or 30. I forget the exact number, but it's kind of in that ballpark, and you'll probably be able to do that within probably the first week. And if you're doing that, you might as well save your arena credits and start going towards a team that allows you to unlock 2 legendaries. So again, these guys are early villains. They're gonna have 2 legendary unlocks, Shuri and Invisible Woman. And once you get Shuri and Invisible Woman in there and you piece them with the Avengers, you've got a solid raid team that can push Ultima 7. You can pretty much go up until U6, or Ultima 6 difficulty, probably difficulty 5. You're still okay with that team. Shuri allows a lot of deflect and a lot of heals for that team, and then Invisible Woman just allows that sustainability and the shock absorption from her barriers. So again, both characters are very sound. I use them still end game, and I'm as end game as it gets. So these guys are not wasted resources. And now with the Sinister Six now and Doc Ock in the picture, obviously these guys are also a piece of the end game as well here. So blitz teams for this team, and they go synergy with Spider-Man and Miles and the other Spider-Verse characters as well, because they are part of that Spider-Verse tag. So that's really nice. And then we've got Doc Ock legendary synergy with the Sinister Six, and guess what? When you get them unlocked, it's fine because you've got all these guys ready to go already, and you've got that extra team, and they actually do really well against War in defense and in offense. So you've got a 2-sided team there, just like the Avengers, and of course it makes no difference to me what team you guys decide to throw where, but again, we like teams that are multi-purpose, and this helps us out a lot. Next team, and this is one that I was contemplating about, and honestly, as much as I didn't want to be farming these guys, especially with our legendary guides, the Guardians still have a role to play in this game, and I do wish perhaps maybe if they make it like a Star-Lord event that's recurring almost every month, or maybe if it's reduced stars, I think it would help a lot of the new players. But again, early farming with these guys, with Yondu, you can start getting Groot and Nexus as well. Still not as early as the other 2 teams that we talked about, but nonetheless, you can start doing that. It gets a little bit more confusing with Blitz, because you're trying to spend your Blitz credits on Rhino, but then you also have these characters to piece in. So again, I would focus with Rhino first, because you're getting 2 legendaries for the price of 1 with those with team number 2, and with Raccoon as well. He's eating up those raid shards, and honestly, you could stick with farming Mysterio or Thor in the raid store, and Raccoon, I mean, fairly squishy, and unfortunately I wish they made him a farmable in a node, but they haven't done that yet. And then Drax gets in the way for the arena as well, and he doesn't really do much other than the fact just be a meat tanky shield. And even then, his in terms of his durability, it's not the best, but he's better than nothing. And again, I know I'm bashing these guys a lot, but the reason why we have them here is because we need that early cosmic team and campaigns, and obviously raid, blitz, and war team. And why do I have it twice here? I have it twice here because I'm trying to re-emphasize the fact that you need that early mystic cosmic team. Unfortunately, all the other characters we talked about, they form pieces, and you get 1 or 2 characters from some of them, but ultimately there's not really any cosmic mystic characters. You may have Captain Marvel if you decide to start farming her with Doom's influence, which is really great. You should do that. But other than that, we are missing that big niche, which is the Cosmic Mystic campaign. And if you want character unlocks in those nodes, you got to get these guys upped. Raid team, blitz team, war team. Again, this game is based on quantity, and you got to go for the sheer number of teams here, especially if you're blitzing, especially in alliance wars, and especially if you're doing raids. You need various characters of various traits, and then it helps you progress through those raids, especially the non-Ultimus alpha, beta, gamma raids. And again, it gives us access to Star-Lord, who I will have to say is probably the only character that I say is worth bringing up to tier 13 or 14. He's great. He's got a ton of damage blind. Other than that, Groot, Raccoon, they might be okay, but I wouldn't bring them past level 70, tier 12. I did have the opportunity to bring them to 13 in my Dark Dimension runs, but that was before there was all these other blockbuster characters released. So anyways, Yeah, that's all I really gotta say about the Guardians. Those are the 3 teams that I would be farming, and like I said already, you can kind of see that once you start getting those other 2 teams farmed away with the Avengers, with the if you decide to go with the Defenders as well, and then ultimately going for the Sinister Six team, which will basically at the end of this getting the 3 teams, I mean, you're gonna have access to about 4 legendaries, so that's gonna give you access to a good start of the game pool, and then it also helps. And then from that point on, you can start farming for the other big boys, and hopefully eventually end up with all the legendaries in the game. But anyhow, that's all we got for this one, guys. I hope this helped you guys out. And as far as I know, I mean, Doom's influence, it's going to be over soon. So hopefully you guys can get the farming underway here, and hopefully in the new year, hopefully they will have updates to that, and hopefully retweak some of the nodes so it helps you guys out further, or retweak some of these legendary events. Other than that, guys, I will catch you in the next one.